I felt like a young lady playing killer, yet I wept hysterically toward the finish of that tape I recently broke. And I just cried cry scratch that is that perhaps we ought not be associated. I don't know yet specific eating regimens like when I see that they put each person of color in the motion pictures in a dress eventually. Yet he shouldn't need to worry about the concern of certain grown-ups causing a kid to feel terrible for. And my father just rose up like a lion, resembled I've watched my child manage this the entire week to take out this presentation. And you won't ever play this person from now on, Dave Chappelle, the man that is by all accounts on each Hollywood executive's last nerve, could have recently expanded the stakes against him as the entertainer has returned to spilling the tea. And in his name's most recent appearance on the news, Mr. Chappelle isn't just discussing what happens behind the window hangings in Hollywood. He's additionally spoken about great representations as a visual cue. I mean individuals that Hollywood tip-top appear to have affected their vocation. And the star of Dave's new disclosure is Jaleel White, on the off chance that that name doesn't sound familiar to you then. At that point, that is precisely exact thing Dave was alluding to, only that there's another side to why the entertainer's vocation has become what it is, and Dave isn't keeping down even a little bit. Yet hold up, that precisely affects the vocations of numerous entertainers. To put it delicately, your brain is essentially going to be blown as of late. You could say Dave Chappelle has been having some fantastic luck, as the jokester has been pursuing Hollywood's top players, hard in keeping in mind that Parody picked a really renowned subject for his most recent disclosure. The message he's proliferating is precisely the same one he's been speaking about all time about Hollywood's arrangement to control each circle of the business. Yet the part Chappelle was specific about is the way the business Goliaths have followed the way of requiring male humorists to wear dresses before they stumble upon the opportunity of a lifetime. Dave was explicit in his cases, here expressing that it's significantly dark comics that have been forced to bear this stick. See, as per Dave, there's just a small bunch of effective joke artists, such as himself, that have figured out how to scale through this, what he suggested be a ceremonial necessity, as Hollywood has apparently fixed things, such that male jokesters showing up in drag have a widespread allure that cuts across social lines. Eddie Murphy, Martin Lawrence, Jamie Foxx, Kenan Thompson of Saturday Night Live, and Tyler Perry are among the African-American entertainers who have produced giggles by dressing in drag. And what's more here is that a portion of these entertainers truly uncovered forehand that they could never be gotten dead in a dress lets you know it goes past trying to say no. And regardless of the prevalence of Perry's firearm hauling affront, throwing media Lawrence's turns as Shenena on his sitcom, Martin in the cantankerous title character in Huge Mom's Home, and the different ladies Murphy has played in the Nutty Teacher films, and Norbit, a few industry monsters, including Dave Chappelle and Cat Williams, have uncovered a few lines ought to simply never be crossed. Yet they aren't the only ones annoyed by this pattern. Todd Boyd, a teacher of basic examinations at USC's School of Realistic Expressions, said the jobs embarrass and castrate individuals of color. It renders them not exactly strong, very much like Chappelle. Boyd accepts that wearing a dress becoming standardized is a significant issue for forthcoming dark entertainers and joke artists, as the watchword utilized by these industry executives, as per Dave, is every one of the greats have gotten it done, yet for reasons unknown. There's a lot further undercurrent to dark comics being made to wear dresses. It's a steady discussion, and quite possibly of the most smoking theme in the realm of dark satire, said Tim Story and chief maker of Kickoff's White Popular, which focuses on a respectably fruitful comic, Floyd Mooney J. Farrow, torn about undermining his honesty to make hybrid progress that is interesting to a more extensive, more standard crowd. The show's story and co-maker Tom Capino say the topic was vital to address in the show, which is to some degree in view of the experience of Fox, who additionally fills in as a leader maker of white renowned. He declined to be evaluated for this story when I initially met with Jamie. Chris Rock's supposedly areas of strength for being into wearing a dress like his ancestors in the business, another enormous name, has likewise uncovered that the equivalent was the situation with Kevin Hart. I certainly have ran into placed on the dress. I mean, you realize you must have limits. You must have limits that you decline to yet, very much like a large portion of the others that have placed on a dress for a show. Kevin likewise became one of the many dark humorists that had as a matter of fact put on a dress in 2015. Kevin wore a dress for a Saturday Night Live production. And Cat Williams gave a clarification for why we saw that new drama by the day's end. Kevin doesn't need to stress over the thing individuals will say regarding him wearing a dress as a result of the long queue of dress-wearing individuals before him, and keeping in mind that the media and the business monsters themselves make it look like wearing a dress isn't exactly however awful as certain individuals may be causing it to appear. How would you make sense of the male comics that have gone down that way? And thought twice about it, since this was the very case with Brandon T. Jackson, the entertainer who was youthful at that point, and revered Martin Lawrence additionally participated in the dress-wearing disaster in the film Huge Mother. Every son follows his old man's example, talking about that specific scene in a meeting. Jackson essentially said it steered, as long as he can remember. I believe I'm correct, everything turned out badly. When I put on that dress, let you know I resided it. Definitely is there any like God, even Martin things turned out badly. When he did it too on the grounds that Martin is extremely irritating anyway. There are other people who accept nothing might actually at any point cause them to have a dress on for a film or some other type of diversion. And that was clear when ruler Jamal said, yet that is not all. Jamal said he additionally uncovered that due to his decision he doesn't get however many proposals as different superstars who will put on a dress. And this is precisely exact thing. Carries us to the narrative of Jaleel White. Most popular for playing Steve Urkel, the ungainly yet splendid researcher and creator neighbor to the Winslows on Family Matters. With his particular suspenders, larger than usual glasses, grunt, upgraded chuckles, and shrill nasally voice that frequently asked White surprised the world. Unfortunately, things didn't precisely turn out as anticipated. And as per Dave, this could have had more to do with the people pulling the strings in Hollywood. Jaleel White's most memorable post-Family Matters gig was a featuring job in the fleeting UPN series, Adults 1999 to 2000. However, the main episode had extraordinary evaluations. Everything went easy from now on. The numbers dropped essentially, and the show was dropped after only one season. White likewise fiddled with voice acting, landing featuring gigs in Mission for Camelot and Our Companion Martin, where he voiced the personality of a youthful Martin Luther Jr. He additionally voiced Sonic the Hedgehog in Experiences of Sonic the Hedgehog, and ensuing series, albeit White has put his banishing from TV on the development of Hollywood, telling Access Hollywood individuals, ask me all the ideal opportunity, for what good reason haven't we seen you? It's all the more an impression of what has occurred in TV improvement than anything to do with me. Furthermore, the issues the entertainer is by all accounts looking in the business post his Hitston Family Matter was really not the excursion everybody thought it was for him, as the entertainer has additionally uncovered that he was made to wear a dress as well. And that doesn't actually start to expose what he went through. I generally trust that on the off chance that I accept it, they'll trust it. So I must be a young lady. White says of playing Steve Urkel's Southern beauty cousin Myrtle Urkel, who visited the Winslows when Steve disappeared a long time, while Steve was charmed by Laura Kelly. Shanae Williams, her sibling Eddie Darius McCrary, was the object of Myrtle's fondness, as per White, that was quite possibly of the most difficult person he'd at any point needed to play. And kid, did he disdain it. Truth be told, the entertainer even expressed a few quite terrible things about being important for the undertaking. All in all, at that age, I was worried that my companions at school planned to ridicule me toward the finish of that first episode playing Myrtle. I went into my changing area, and I cried, and afterward, the makers came to mind me and my father, let them know that I could at absolutely no point ever do that person in the future way. Make sense of that youth gathering with him and his co-stars. I realized I had done it so well.